Yes, sir. It's Spottie Wi-Fi. And you know I'm an all-time guy. And I'm living at an all-time high. It's official, I'm the king of punks. Haters gave me motivation. Even the coronavirus couldn't stop my coronation. Buy low, sell high, diamond hand determination. I'm Spottie Wi-Fi 5528, and we all gon' make it.
Yeah, no, I agree. One of the things that I love about the NFT space and cryptos is, this decentralized feature to where like there's not one person in charge, there's not like a board or a president or anything in charge. It's more up to the community effort applied. So if there's people in the community applying effort towards building a project or applying their skills to just like one piece of the pie to build some project, there's going to be progress that comes on, and it's going to end up benefiting everybody across the board who also likes things to be decentralized, to cut middlemen out, to where like what they earn is theirs, and it's not someone who had no skills or anything applied to this. So with things being decentralized, it usually takes, people building up alliances sometimes business alliances, collaborations, working together. We've seen you do the collaboration with Artchick. I listen to a lot of your music on YouTube. I've heard you give shout outs to Beanie during the Christie's anthem, which Beanie and Artchick both also have this alternate personality based off CryptoPunks they own. So is there going to be an ongoing effort in you doing other collaborations or doing other work with other people who have these alternate personalities with CryptoPunks or other NFT characters that they're taking over the personalities of?
That's such a great question. It was definitely more of a focus for me on the first album. To be honest with you, on this second album, I'm really focused on collaborating with mainstream artists, and bridging the gap between the nucleus of the NFT world and the mainstream. So it's not going to be a huge focus for me, but I will say two things. Number one, on my new album, it's a collab album. Like almost every song is going to be a collaboration. So I want to make sure that I'm also collaborating with some NFT native artists. I've had a lot of artists that support my work that are paying dues and grinding in the NFT world. And so I want to collaborate with some of them that have become my good friends now, so that they can also say they were on an album with BunB and the other mainstream artists that I'm going to be collaborating with, right? And then the other thing I would say is I think it's inevitable that as I'm working with more mainstream artists, they will start to own maybe CryptoPunks, maybe Bored Apes, maybe Gutter Cats, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that will happen. It's just not as much a focus for me. But yes, bottom line, I think by the time a year from now we look back, and by the time my new album is out and everybody can listen to it in full, I bet you there will be collabs with artists, both mainstream artists and more indie NFT native artists who have NFTs as profile pictures. I predict that will be the case when we look back.
That's pretty awesome. In such a short time, you've had like a lot of success. You've had a lot of eyes on you. I know, I'm active on Twitter where most of the community and from NFTs and crypto hang out at. And I see you in a lot of spaces. People have you as their guest co-host in there. You're getting all this attention. And then there was this build up to New York City's NFT event, which this was like a Hollywood type Grammy event where they're having awards. You have people coming from all over the planet who are into NFTs, people from Australia and other places who are doing what they need to do to overcome these boundaries that came with COVID for traveling. And they're like, I'm going to be to New York. And you start seeing people voting and nominating people for different awards. And I remember seeing people voting for I don't remember the exact category, but it had to do with music, and it was pretty much you on there, lined up with a bunch of people who weren't musicians really. It was more musical platforms and stuff. So why don't we talk about what led up to your journey after the sellout of the album and the success with that, up to NFT New York City?
Yeah, man. So it's funny hearing talk about it, because you reminded me of a couple things that I haven't thought about at all. But the first thing I want to say is I think one really important thing that happened after the album sale was we worked really hard to try to get press, right? And get people to write about the story. Um, we didn't get great results in terms of volume of stories written about us. When I say us, I mean my producer and me. We didn't get a ton of articles written about our story, but we got a few, and we got one that was really critical. Pigeons and Planes, which is a popular rap blog, and they're owned by Complex Media. They wrote about us, they interviewed me, and they did an in-depth interview. I think the final article is like 6,000 words, because we go in crazy detail. You know, we just talk about everything.
It's awesome.
And that was a big stepping stone. I think that gave us a lot of legitimacy in our mission now of bridging the gap to the mainstream. So I think in the world of like the awards and things, I think that probably had an impact that I don't even know. I couldn't even describe exactly the impact. The other thing I want to say is it was all community, man. Like what you reminded me of that I don't think I even thought of until right now. I'm pretty sure, and I would have to go search on Twitter, but I'm pretty confident that you just reminded me that I didn't even know about the NFT NYC Awards until one of our community members, one of our collectors, I think shared the link with me. And I'm like 90% sure that's how I found out about it. And that happens a lot, man. Like this interview right now is happening because you're a member of our community and you hit me up, you know, and that happens all the time where community members are supporting me, not just by purchasing an NFT. You know, that's not the requirement to really be part of this movement. People are down for the cause and really supporting me in other ways. And so I believe somebody that likes my music, they sent me the link. And it was just like nominate an artist, you know, and anybody could nominate anybody. And so I started sharing the link, and I was kind of like persistent with it. I shared it a lot. Like I didn't want to take any chances. I actually thought that was the ballot, to be honest with you. I didn't totally realize it was just nominations. I thought it was like, this is the ballot, vote, and we're going to pick the winner right now on this Google form. Anyways, I'm glad I was persistent with it, because I think a lot of artists either didn't know about it or maybe they didn't post about it a lot. And we got nominated. And like you said, it was so funny when I looked at the list, and it's like, wow, we're nominated against 3 music platforms. And I've actually been very vocal and very critical of some music platforms this year that, in my opinion, are basically trying to take old school record label business models and just bring them to the Web3 space, which I have zero tolerance for. So for me to be able to run against 3 platforms, it was a gift and a curse. I wish other artists had been nominated. I actually wish there were 2 categories, one for artists, one for music platforms. But when I saw it, the gift was, oh, we're going to take this because this is exactly what I'm against, you know, is like, and a few of those platforms, I've had the chance to learn a little bit about them. And I'm so glad we whooped them, because some of them are just very exploitative, you know. But yeah, man, it really comes down to the community, and I'm so grateful. We got a great support from the voters. So many people telling me they voted for me and shared it with their friends and things like that. And that's been the whole story, man. And you know, because you've been witnessing and you've been a part of it, participating. But like, we've done a lot of things where it was like social media voting and things like that, or to get a little bit of exposure, or even just sharing my music, you know, like when I put my album out, you know, I had a quarter of the followers I have right now, you know, and I still have a small audience relatively, but it's like a small community, but a very passionate community. And that's what it's all about. And that's what NFT NYC was about to me, was celebrating that. And when I went there, it wasn't like a vacation. And you're right, we did party, we had fun, but I was making sure that like I was bringing the spectacle, I was bringing the entertainment value, and that my people at home, the people that support, the collectors, they were there with me, because I wasn't out there, I doxed myself. I got the cheetah fur on my scalp, bro. I went to the barber. I made sure I was representing the cheetah gang with my follicles. I was representing the cheetah gang with my wardrobe, and just making sure that we were visible, because the collectors deserve that. It's really not even about like me being up, because I would have rather been anonymous, to be honest with you. There's a lot of advantage to not showing your face, but it's like, man, we got so much community support. I have to go out there and make sure I represent for them and let them know, like, every ounce of support, every retweet, every like, every vote, that got me to New York City. That got us the award for best use of NFTs in the music industry. And nobody did it alone. We did it as a team, and that's why we are all Spottie.
Oh, that's awesome. And again, that goes back to this whole decentralized advantage, to where, your community can be your platform, and that's the way things should be, a relationship between the artists and the community members that enjoy this artist, which I know one thing that I saw a lot. I didn't go to New York City, but I was tracking it all on Twitter, is you had the I'm Spottie or Find Spottie, to where people had to come find you. And I see pictures of people like taking selfies with you, like you're like this famous person in NFTs and stuff. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, I wonder what his experience was with this. Well, like having random strangers come up and want to take a picture with you and post it on their Twitter and share it with the world. Like, how did that feel to you?
Man, it's such a humbling feeling. The Find Spottie idea, I have to give credit where credit is due, man. There's a woman named Brianna. Her Twitter is Briannaverse, and she is the POAP Queen of Manhattan. Okay, she's on the POAP team, and I met her recently in Twitter Spaces. We started talking about upcoming events at NFT NYC, and honestly, bro, she gave me that idea. I have to really give her credit. She gave me the idea for Find Spottie because I was trying to book a performance. I really wanted to reward my fans by like having my first live show, and I was just having trouble. And then it was just like, well, I just want to get my new song All Time High featuring BunB. I just want to get that played. I want to get that to DJs and things like that. And even that was not easy. Like, I don't know if people are underestimating the music or what, but I basically was talking to her like, hey, I'm doing everything guerrilla style. They don't want to give me a stage. That's fine. They don't want to play my song. That's fine. I'll do it myself. I'm renting a truck. I'm renting a billboard truck. I'm going to crash parties, and we're going to blast the song out in front so that everybody in line and everybody inside knows what it is. If they don't want to play my song, I'll play it for them. They can thank me later. And I was letting her know, and she was loving it. She was like, that's dope. Like, that's brilliant. And then she gave me this idea, because I was like, I was thinking of throwing an event. I was just thinking of doing my own event, but it was kind of like, I was a little late in the game to try to start planning. And she was like, you should just do a POAP, like a Where's Waldo thing. I was like, that's it. Like, that's the idea, because then me going to a party, it's like Kanye said, my presence is a present. If I'm walking up to your party, I'm bringing all the Spotties with me, because they want to find Spottie. And so that was the idea. We made some artwork for the POAP. I don't know what the numbers are comparatively, but all of the POAP team was very great to work with, and they gave us a lot of compliments about like how active we were with the POAP. There were a couple times where the QR code ran out of POAPs, because they basically they basically, give you a certain quantity, and then they would have to increase the quantity a couple times because, we were being so active with it. But to answer your other question, having people come up and identify me, like, it was really humbling, like it really made me feel like, we are getting the word out there. We are getting the message out there. And, I would say, this is just a guess, I would say maybe 1/3 of the time somebody would approach me and be like, oh, I love that song, or like somebody will come up, I'm Spottie, they'll come up and be like, your girl want to connect the dots, things like that, but I would say more than half the time, and maybe 2/3 of the time, people come up and they say, I love what you're doing. I love the message. Music industry is busted and things like that. And that is like, that's incredible to me, because we didn't start out, honestly, my producer and me, we didn't start out saying we want to be revolutionaries. We just wanted to make fun music and like have fun and express ourselves through this character. And then as time went on throughout the year, we sort of realized like what we're doing has this other significance. And so the fact that that is now, I think, the prevailing message is awesome, man. I'm very proud.
That's really badass, man. I like hearing success stories like yours, especially when everything's just like falling into place at like right timing, right moment, like all the opportunities you see, like you're jumping on, and like even though like it feels like you're crawling through mud, you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make my own path. I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna make this happen. So let's talk about who makes up Spottie, because obviously, I see on one of your videos, I see Goldrilla. We hear a lot about Goldrilla and Spaces. The people who make your beats for you. Let's talk about who makes up Spottie and Spottie's music, and how does this become reality for everybody in the NFT community to enjoy?
Okay, great question. So number one, Spottie WiFi is really two people. It's me, I do the lyrics and I spit the raps. And then my music producer, my best friend for many years, he's going to be the best man in my wedding. His name is Stephen Clark. You can follow him on Twitter, STEFANCLARK. He's an incredible producer, man. Like, we've worked together for many years on different musical projects. 99% of the music I've ever created, he produced. So we have this chemistry that, like, this is going to sound pretty egotistical, but I feel like, I used to watch Inside the Actors Studio on Bravo. And I remember like he was asking Robert De Niro, like, how do you and Martin Scorsese work so well together? And he was just like, when you have so much experience with someone, you could just like say something that nobody else in the world will understand, and they'll understand it. Like, hey, remember that other project where we did this thing and we did it that way and this happened? We should do it like that, but maybe Stefan and I have that. Like, we have that in spades. So our chemistry is really our secret weapon. And he's just an incredible and incredibly versatile producer, where he can take a song and make 27 versions of it and it'll sound interesting and dope, So it's really me and him. We have a sound engineer named Matt Lejeune. He's been Grammy nominated. He does all of our mastering. So Stefan does the beats, he does the mixing, and then Matt does the mastering. We have a friend that we brought on recently that helps us do some strategy stuff. He actually introduced us to BunB and worked out that agreement, that partnership. But it's a tight team in the Meatverse. Now in the metaverse though, bro, in the metaverse, that's where Spottie's from. So in the metaverse, like, I'm good in every hood. I got a lot of friends. I got a big team. So of course you mentioned Goldrilla. Goldrilla is the world's only board hype man. That's my right-hand ape right there. So he actually introduced me and inducted me into the Cheetah Gang. I got in through a loophole because I got the spots. So Goldrilla is my right-hand man. I have my me bit. Okay, my me bit is a skeleton me bit. He's my DJ Mad Skells. He's legendary in the metaverse. He kind of put me on. when he discovered that I had bars. He really put me on in the metaverse. And then I have others, you know, I have a whole cast of characters around me. I have a gutter cat, also Cheetah Gang. His name is Cheat Code. He's my sound engineer in the metaverse. Okay. I have my keyboard player. He's also a gutter cat. That's Stray Charles. I have my security. I have a cheetah gutter dog for security. I have pigeons, rats. I have avastars. I have meta heroes. All of these different characters make up the Spottyverse. And what I'm really excited about after the music is we're working on some content right now for next year where we're going to start to tell the story of all these characters, how Spotty met all these individuals, and how Spotty and his crew went from the metaverse to the meatverse. You know, so you're going to see a lot more of that. Like the story of Spotty, it starts with music, but that's just the tip of the spear. And we have a lot more content, animated content, things like that we're working on.
That's really cool to hear, man. I like how like you're just like building this brand out more and more, branching it out to do more things than just, you know, sell that NFT. One thing that I like is that you got this new song that I saw on Twitter, you performing out in New York City is where I seen it, the all-time high.
I'm certified, don't need no headlines to verify me. We about to take the revolution to the main stage. Go tell the labels, I don't think we on the same page. That's word of metallic, we're both in italic on what you heard in my worst salad. Spotty for royal, for digital oil, boy, I got a metaverse palace. Don't ask me nothing, I can't talk in public or comment on UTA. I'm too busy running it up, we both be none other than UGK. Gotta maintain, gotta make rain, gotta stay clear to make, I'm on chain gang gang. T5, so my green five like a beat stock, you know, V5 modes on bang bang. I touch the mill and quit my 9 to 5. I got a blunt rap side to side, and I'm an all-time guy, all-time high.
Which all-time high, you with BunB, that's your new song. So I want to talk about this song, the release for your upcoming mint here in a few days, because we know that's going to be just as fire as your last mint. I also want to talk about upcoming albums or upcoming songs that we can see coming up afterwards that more of your fans can look forward to. So let's talk about the upcoming mint first.
Awesome, man. Yeah, so like you said, we have a new song called All Time High. BunB is a legendary rapper. You know, he's from the group UGK, in case anybody's not familiar. Growing up, you know, in Chicago, I had a lot of love and influence from the South, you know, so it's amazing to be able to work with Bun. The idea for this drop is we're taking some of the things that we loved about the I'm Spotty drop and adapting them for this drop. So it's one song, but there are 27 versions of the song. Okay. There are 3 like core versions or 3 main versions. You've got the rap edition, you've got the 8-bit edition, and then you've got the orchestral now. So we're taking it to like the symphony, bro. And it gets pretty crazy because all 3 of those versions have a very distinct vibe. Like really, like I've been listening to them like on loop, and man, it's like totally different vibes, but the same raps, the same vocals. And again, that's how I'm telling you, like Stefan, bro, Stefan is a genius. You know, he's a master at what he does production wise. And then we take those 3 versions and we create mashups. So that's how we get 27 versions. Okay, so you have some versions that have a little bit of they have the bass from the orchestral version. They have the drums from the 8-bit version. They have all the other instruments from the rap version. So on Monday, November 15th, you'll be able to mint these NFTs and you'll get a version of the song. You just don't know which version you'll get. Some are more common, some are more rare, some are one-of-ones. So you could literally own a one-of-one version of a song that, you know, was originally written and performed by Spottie WiFi and BunB, and we think that's pretty special. The other thing I'm very, very proud of is we actually partnered with a DreamWorks animator for the artwork. Okay, so my first album, my first NFT collection was basically depictions of Spotty transformative depictions, right? We would take the idea of Spottie and like make these derivatives, but it was like pretty uniform in style, you know, all sort of 8-bit style. With this next iteration, we've got DreamWorks level artwork, and it's not just JPEGs, it's actually animated artwork this time. So we're really proud of that. And we think people are gonna see that when we sold out the album, we reinvested into our next project. You know, we're taking the earnings, some of the revenue from the first drop and saying, let's invest in a collab with BunB. Let's invest in a collab with a DreamWorks animator, you know, and guess what? We're going to give these out, these new NFTs with BunB. They're going to be a free mint for our token holders, okay? So if you spent money, if you spent your hard-earned money on an I'm Spottie token back in August or since then, we took your money and we said, let's create something even bigger and better and give it back, right? So that's what we're doing. It's a free mint for anybody that already owns a Spottie token, and there's no rush. You can take your time to mint it. You don't have to mint it right away. You take your time. There's no time limit, so you don't have to try to rush when gas is high or anything like that. We're trying to take care of the token holders. And then there will be a public sale. So there's 2003 tokens for my 2003 NFTs that are already out there. And then there's an additional 1997 for public sale, something like that. So 4,000 tokens total. And what we're going to do is we're going to sell this as an NFT as the first single from the new collab album. And then it's a year-long project. So next year, every quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, we're going to do a new NFT drop for a new single, okay? Each of them is going to be a collab, okay? If you collect one NFT from each of these drops, you have basically all 5 Infinity Stones, and you're going to get the new collab album as a vinyl record, okay? So that's the idea. So taking what worked for the debut album and doubling down and saying, how can we elevate the collabs? How can we elevate the music, elevate the artwork, and produce a product that is even more ambitious and even more historic through partnership and collaboration? So that's what we're up to. And if you have my current token, the I'm Spottie token, then you're along for the ride, you know, because these are going to be free mints for my Spottie token holders.
That's really good that, you know, you provide all this extra value for your token holders and the people that support you as your community members for Spottie WiFi. I know another thing that I feel like a lot of token holders feel is very valuable, something that they showed in New York City that they really want is live shows where they can see Spottie perform at. So do you have plans to do live shows, maybe a tour for this upcoming album? And if you are going to do tours, are you going to come out how you were in New York City, or is it going to be more like how like the Gorillas did it, where they're just going to see an animated screen that they're going to be able to interact with? Let's touch base more on that.
Man, I'm so glad you asked. Yes, there will be more live shows. Like I was telling you at NFT NYC, we wanted to do something more on a stage in a venue, and it just wasn't working out. So we did a couple of things for the token holders. One, we did sort of an impromptu meet and greet at just a Irish pub, and we only gave the location to our like gated Discord channel. So only like you had to prove that you had a token in Discord to even get the location. And we had a great turnout, man. It was really fun to meet so many community members. We had swag. We had some snapback hats that we gave away. We did some raffles. We had stickers, took pictures, and just met each other. You know, it was awesome. And then on my last full day and night in New York, some friends hit me up at cypher.media, and they said, we have this like hippie bus with a PA system and a microphone on the roof, and we're going to crash some parties. Do you want to rap? And I was like, yes, this is like my style, you know, like they won't let me in the front door. So we're just going to pull up and take it to the streets. And that's what we did. So again, this was like a smaller crowd. But we live streamed it on Twitch. You can watch it right now at twitch.tv/Spottie WiFi. And it was super fun, man. And we're definitely going to do more for that. I'm going to give you some alpha. I guarantee it has been agreed upon, and I can't tell you where and when just yet. I got to keep that a little bit in-house for now, but I will be performing at Art Basel in Miami this year, the first week of December 2021. I will be performing on stage, not on the rooftop of a bus or anything like that. So if you're able to make it to Miami, definitely come out, and I guarantee we will have some sort of a streaming option. I haven't figured it out yet. It's still early, but you know, if you're not able to make it, we'll make sure that we get footage for you guys to check out as well. And a tour I would love to do. I actually was getting asked by some people in New York. I met a few people from LA out there. You know, a lot of people were like, when are you coming to LA? When are you coming to LA? We definitely got to get out west. So it wasn't something we were thinking about a lot because we were more focused on our VR show, our virtual reality show. But now that I'm doxxed, even though, you know, I'm not really, you know, I still like to wear the face of Spottie digitally when I can. But for live shows, I'm doxxed, I'm out here, and it will be a very Gorillaz inspired show. But I like the way the Gorillaz perform live, where they'll have the screens behind them or around them showing the characters doing the live show, but then they're also on stage and you can see them, you know, live and direct. So that's sort of my inspiration for the live show.
That's really cool. So it looks like everybody in the NFT community has a lot to look forward to with your show in Miami. I'm sure everybody is going to enjoy that highly, probably have way bigger success. I want to go ahead and thank you for coming on the show, Spottie. I feel like I've learned so much about you. I'm sure anybody out there who's interested in hearing about you will probably get a ton of information. So I'm going to make sure and share this with everybody I can. Also, I wanted to thank you. I'm going to send you a shirt. This is a shirt from Jade Cosmetics. It actually has some of my artwork on there. There's some NFT artwork on there. Also, to keep you from being spotty in real life or whatever, I'm going to send you some skincare products from Jade Cosmetics. Make sure that we keep you looking great whenever you're going to go out and be meeting your fans, doing live shows and performances of that. I want everybody to go ahead and mark your calendars for a reminder for his mint that will be coming up on the 15th. Make sure that you follow Spottie WiFi on Twitter, and we will be going ahead and ending this session right now. Again, Spottie, thank you again for coming on, and we'll talk to everybody on our next show.
Dude, it's totally my pleasure. Thank you so much, man, and thank you for the merch and the product, bro. I'm looking forward to checking it out. Thank you so much.
Most definitely, man. We'll talk here in a bit and how we can get that to you, man. It was great talking to you, man. We'll talk to you later.
I dox myself, so if you need me, you know where to find me. I'm certified, don't need no websites to verify me. We about to take the revolution to the main stage. Go tell the labels I don't think we